Alexander, and it is time for the purpose conversation. So, you know how it goes. I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to come on into the room. Come on in, come on in. If you see me coming across your news feed and you're like, hey, it's time for the purpose conversation. I see Juva. I'm live and I want you here. Come on in because tonight I not only have an absolutely another amazing guest, but tonight I have some special news or some good news, some exciting news to me anyway. And I'm going to share that with you tonight. And I'm going to have a couple of giveaways. So if you would come on in, come on in, come on into the room. It is time for the purpose conversation. When you get in here, and I see there are some people coming on in, so I say welcome to the purpose conversation. Welcome to Facebook Live. Welcome to all of my purpose friends on YouTube Live. Go ahead and come on in, come on in. You know how it goes. Tag somebody, share this video, invite some people in, or, for all of my truths that follow after the show and catch it on repeat, welcome, however, whenever, whatever time you are on. I just want to say welcome to the purpose conversation. I hope you guys have had a great week. I've had a pretty good week. It's been a very busy week, considering that, yesterday, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the things on, if you kind of follow me on live or you follow my Facebook page, of course, or if you catch me out on IG, you see that yesterday I did something pretty special. I connected with a group that I absolutely love. I actually met this particular group, this organization rather, maybe about 3 years ago. I had the opportunity to connect and introduce one of their partners and one of their speakers. And it absolutely just kind of, it blew me away because, the person that I introduced, it was Zane. And for all of you authors and all of you fans of Zane, Zane, I was like, oh, it was such an honor and privilege. But the name of the organization or the group that I had the opportunity to partner with yesterday was the Girls Who Brunch Tour. And it is, oh my goodness, it is such an amazing organization. The founder is Nicola Mitchell, and she's just amazing all by herself. Oh my goodness. So if you could check out girlswhobrunchtour.com, or it's .org, but either way it goes, they are absolutely an amazing group. They do some wonderful things, not just, in your particular state, but globally. I mean, it is amazing. So they have an ambassador type of program for girls, and it's all about empowering girls. And the age range is between 9 and 17. And I had the opportunity to actually present the purpose conversation workshop for girls. And I thought it was so cool because, I believe that you're never too young to start talking about purpose. And I was just trying to pour it all in there. Everything that I wish that I had known at that age. And my age group for the workshop was between 12 and 14. And it was awesome. So they had the Charlotte experience here, and next week they're in Atlanta. They're doing their fundraiser gala, and it's called Tutus and Tennis Shoes, and it's so cute. But the Charlotte experience, let me tell you, the Queen City, all of the queens, they came out in droves to absolutely represent. So shout out Nicola Mitchell, shout out to the Girls Who Brunch Tour, shout out to everybody that participated in the Girls Who Brunch Tour Charlotte Experience 2021, because you women and girls, you did an absolutely amazing, phenomenal job. So that's what I did yesterday, and it was wonderful. I absolutely love partnering on purpose with groups and organizations that are aligned to, my purpose. So if you guys, any of you out there, if you have a workshop you want to do, I just want to let you know that, hit me up. I am welcome. I'm welcoming bringing in the Purpose Conversation workshop to you, because it was really, really good. And I have a different one specifically for, adults. And it's not just women, but men too. The purpose is for everybody. And so, which reminds me, my guest tonight, I really think his name is Anthony R. Page, and he is absolutely just a brilliant mind. Oh my goodness, he's such a brilliant mind. And he is, when I think of the definition of a creator and a creative, that would definitely be Anthony. He is, oh my goodness, Anthony has done some of everything, but he is the owner and founder of Blue Bistro Creative. And I was explaining to him, he agrees. I said, you know, Anthony, I look at Blue Bistro Creative being like this huge umbrella because it has all these other little compartments that are just kind of falling in line up underneath it. And this man does everything. He is a and I know I use the word busy a lot, but he is a very busy man, and he is out here making a difference and mentoring. Oh, I just can't wait for you guys to meet him and for us to just kind of dig in. So if you would, if you're watching or if you're just kind of strolling by, and hey there, Latanya, I see you there. If you are watching and you're like, oh, I'll come on in just a moment, come on in anyway. I won't put you on blast and say, hey, she's here and he's there or whatever. Come on into the room because you want to be present for tonight's show. But Mr. Anthony R. Page, oh my goodness, where on earth do I start? I was going to read his bio, but for some reason I'm like, where is his bio on this computer? I have so much stuff, but I can tell you a few things. A director, an actor, a phenomenal graphic artist, photographer, oh my goodness, definitely a mentor. He's an entrepreneur. I love the fact that he is so creative and he has so many passions and he has such a diverse just background, but he has a story too. And I know that you will be, let me tell you now, you will be blessed this evening because he is the example of just going forward, not allowing anything or anyone to stop your specific purpose, and getting out here and just grinding. I've learned so much from him. I've had the absolute pleasure of having the opportunity to actually work with him on a couple different things. And the one word that comes to mind, and it resonates with me because it was kind of ingrained in me, is excellence. Excellence. I didn't say perfect, but excellence. Everything I think this man's hands touch, I just see it just kind of blossoming, flourishing, thriving, turning to gold. And so it is an honor and a privilege to introduce, and y'all know, y'all saw my little video, the man right here, because I couldn't think of anything else but the man right here. So if you would, you know how we do. Let's give a big applause and let's do a drum roll, please, as we bring in Mr. Anthony R. Page.
What's up, people?
Hey, welcome to the Purpose Conversation, Anthony.
That was a phenomenal introduction. I was starting to wonder who you were talking about. I said, "She talking about me?"
You know I'm talking about you with your absolutely amazing self. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, because I know that Sundays, that is your day to rest a little bit, to be with your family, and to give them that quality time. So I greatly appreciate, and tell the family thank you for me.
Absolutely. I certainly will. Definitely will.
Thank you so much for coming on. So it was funny because we have prepared for a month ahead of time, and I'm looking through my notes. I'm like, where the heck did I put Anthony's bio? So I kind of freestyled it a little bit. So I just kind of gave your titles. But if you would, Purpose Friends, this is Anthony R. Page. YouTube, Facebook. This is Anthony R. Page. He is the founder of Blue Bistro Creative. And if you would, we're just going to go off the riff. Mr. Anthony R. Page. Anthony, if you would, tell us, who is Anthony R. Page?
I'm a servant. It's not a title that I always welcomed, but you grow to a place in your life where you have to recognize who you are. I'm a teacher. Um, I think overall I'm a servant and a teacher, and that manifests itself in many different ways, which gave birth to my company, Blue Bistro Creative. I spend most of my time directing, writing, producing. On the independent side, because I'm working, like Tyler Perry says, to build my own table. So I stay independent instead of kind of going the traditional Hollywood route, trying to break into that system. I'm working to create my own platform, and so far so good. Not for the faint at heart, but it works. And out of that, out of my desire to do those things, so many other things evolved out of necessity. Because when you're a small enterprise, you don't always often have the staff you need. You don't often have the resources you need. So what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So learned how to do photography, learned how to do graphic design, marketing, writing press releases, putting together packages because I needed it for the things that I was doing. That became a business because others saw what I was doing for my productions and wanted me to do it for theirs.
Right.
So that's why Blue Bistro Creative kind of formed in that way. Work predominantly in the spaces of film, television, and theater, in those three spaces. But I've done special events. I've done concerts. We did one music festival. We had 40 different bands. I've curated art shows. Did an award-winning art show. Did a really global art show too. I had 275 pieces of art, all themed around James Brown. We did that for the James Brown Music Festival. It was a wonderful art show. We had art all over the city of Augusta themed around James Brown. It was a way to kind of honor him, and so many artists, lend their voice. So people sometimes say, oh, you're all over the place. But to me, that creative process is the same. It just manifests itself in different ways. So sometimes it may come out in a live creative event. It may come out in a short film, a short documentary, a stage play. It's the same kind of creative chi, but it manifests itself in different ways. It's like, what is the best way to execute what this is? And there you go. So that's Anthony Page, student, teacher, servant, definitely a lifelong student. I'm taking classes now. I'm taking some leadership classes at Harvard, and I'm doing a certification program at NYU. Just constantly trying to improve myself and make sure I'm current with what's going on, and, staying relevant to, the latest technology and the latest, ways to build your enterprise. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell. I'm sure as we get into it, I can kind of give you some more anecdotes.
Oh, perfect. And I remember you always saying that you are a lifelong learner. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but you do believe in investing in yourself and getting getting educating yourself and staying on top. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. I think that I've picked up so many nuggets from you. Oh my goodness. I could probably go on and on and on. Because we are going to talk purpose, we're going to talk purpose. If you would tell me, what does the word purpose mean to you? What does purpose look like to Anthony?
Well, I mean, when we talk in the spirit, first of all, out of pride and ego, you want to do certain things. I know, because growing up without my father, that impacts you a great deal. And, my father and my mom met, they had a whirlwind romance, and then the army sent him to Vietnam. Came back from Vietnam, he was broken. It basically PTSD. So his and my mother's relationship did not work. And, of course, I'm a kid. I don't know what's going on. But long story short, I grew up without my father. So I didn't get validated in that way. So I think early on in my life, I pursued a lot of validation. I wanted that approval. I
Mm.
wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be included um, in that. And it's hard to say because I thought if I am successful, people will love me. If I dress a certain way, people will love me. If I can be whatever I needed to be to get that love from different people. Um, so I've learned to play roles. In many ways, that's a part of why in those early stages I became a good actor. I've been playing roles all my life.
Wow.
And ultimately what I wanted was love. Um, but
Wow.
out of that, God gave me purpose. I
Mm.
understand because of my own evolution and my own coming to a place of understanding of who I am. I can recognize that journey in a lot of other people. So when I'm writing something or developing something, it gives me a very experiential insight because I actually went through it. And then I'm fortunate enough to have a good tribe around me. I'm surrounded by some really brilliant, talented people. We bounce ideas and inspirations off of each other all the time. So, it gives birth to a lot. But my purpose falls in the line of definitely teaching because I remember when I was coming up, instead of many people trying to lift me,
Mm-hmm.
it, it was more likely to kind of push you down. Instead of giving you a hand up, they put their foot on your neck.
Yes.
Um, and I always said when I got in that position, I'm not going to be that dude. So if somebody comes to me with the right attitude and they're willing to work, I'll share with them the little bit that I know on how to do and become what they're becoming from the things that I've done in this space of entertainment. Um, and so at one point I was mentoring 17 different people over
Yeah.
the years. Over the years, I think I've mentored. It's in the hundreds,
Oh, wow.
definitely.
And I
Yeah,
believe it. Yes. Yes.
in so many different ways. Some are very direct, but because actors come to me because I've been teaching acting classes since I graduated from Georgia State, which is back in 2002. And I'm always from coming out of school, I'm teaching acting classes while I'm myself, trying to build a career as an actor. So these students come and I realize they don't know anything. They want to be actor. There's something in them. They have this gift, and I always push them towards producing. I said, Hollywood may not give you the opportunity to really show the world what you have. So
Mm.
learn how to build a project for yourself that showcases the best of what you have and what you can do. Because you may not get that perfect role. So learn how to create it for yourself. And that's the art of producing. So I know I planted the seeds with hundreds of people through my classes to become producers. To and we see the people that are functioning at the high level in the industry, they're producing their own work. Everybody from
Yeah.
George Clooney to Will Smith, they're crafting works around the best of what they do. Tom Cruise, and I can continue. So
Yeah.
I'm encouraging actors at the startup phase to kind of do that. And there's a business in that. There's an enterprise in that,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
also purpose and identity. For so long, others have controlled our narrative as Black people, and they've shared with the world who we were. That perception was inaccurate, inauthentic, and incomplete because
Yes.
people around the world have a warped sense of warped viewpoint of who Black people really are.
Very
So
true.
now that we have the resources, we can tell our own stories from our own point of view with a lot more authenticity, a lot more depth, and we can share with the world directly our own experience, not filtered
Hmm.
through somebody else's maybe limited understanding of who we are. And that's important because as people see the things that we do, it's a reflection or a validation of themselves. Like I said, coming full circle to us needing to be validated. I
Mm.
think people need to see a reflection of who they are in the world. You know what I mean? We need
Yeah.
that mirror.
Absolutely.
I think. I'm not a psychologist. I don't understand why, but I think that's important. You know,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
that who we are is reflected in the stories that are being told in television programs and stage plays and that kind of. And we show people through our work what they become. We can also teach and inspire people through the work that we do. So my purpose is all wrapped up into that. Creating entrepreneurs, building a sense of community, lifting as many people as I can up that makes sense, and then reflecting a more complete image of who we are as people in the world, sharing our own stories with the world. So my purpose is all wrapped up into those things.
I absolutely love that. And I know that you used to say that you had this Harriet Tubman mentality.
Yeah.
And that has always stuck with me. That has always stuck with me. Um, and you think about reaching back, helping other people, and bringing them along, bringing them on. And do you remember saying that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I remember across my life, kind of in the early to mid 20s, so many things were happening in our community. You got to realize that early to mid 20s for me was the 90s. And we're thinking
Hmm.
gangster rap and hip hop era was emerging. And it was a lot going on. President Clinton was president. All of those
Hmm.
things were happening. And, of course, we feel in some kind of way about what's going on in our community. Crack
Hmm.
had hit our community. Unemployment was this, Rodney King incident had happened. There was a lot going on. And I remember to myself saying, they need to do this and they need to do that. And over time, God put in my spirit, he says, what are you doing? But I'm like, no, they, it was somebody else who needed to be doing something. So then when God just kept putting, what are you doing? Don't worry about anybody else's 100%. Just do your part. Just do your little part. And
Oh,
that
yes.
began my journey of community activism. Is like, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. With what little bit of resources I have, what can I do to make my community better? So it started with little things and it continues to grow with my business, doing more and more and more different things. And God always sent me those opportunities. People may come to me with one thing, but I realize in my interactions with them that our relationship is supposed to be about something else. They may come to me and wanting to be an actor in one of the productions I have, and I ended up helping them with something else, maybe on the more personal side, based on experience I have, and they have a similar experience and they're struggling with something, and I'm able to share some of my story, and it helps them, say in their marriage or something like that, or
Wow.
actually and pointed them in the direction of something that they needed or needed to get to. So, just being open to that. Because another thing I would say, um, at a low point in my life, and I'll get back to the Harriet Tubman thing, but at a low point in my life, and I'm going internal with this.
Go ahead. Let's go.
I remember saying, I felt in my spirit, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be living a creative life and creating this work. It's so zen for me. It's so effortless for me. It is so
Hmm.
right for me. I lose time doing this work. I just love it. I
Yes.
could do this work 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
But financially, it was hard for me to do this work. It was a struggle
Yeah.
to try to maintain my family and my life being a creative artist. And I remember being angry with God and said, I know I'm supposed to do this, but I don't have this and I don't have that, because I was looking for somebody to give me that $200,000 check and let me go make my
Yeah.
first feature film.
Right.
But it didn't show up that way. And I'm like, I don't have nothing. I mean, I can't do this because I don't have nothing. And God put in my spirit, he said, use what you have. And I kept thinking I didn't have anything because I thought what I needed was going to come in the form of a big check. But it was like,
Mm.
this lady will let you use his building. These people are willing to volunteer with you. These actors will work with you for free. And so, and then I realized that when I looked around 360, not just look, give me the check. It was like, if I looked all around the environment that I found myself in, there was a lot I could do to get a project done with what was available to me. And so that's where I started. And I started to build and grow organically from that. And it took a while to get to that. It wasn't overnight because I was working in corporate America. I left my job in 2008.
Hmm.
From 2008 to 2011, I got my behind handed to me because I
Mm.
was good creatively, but I didn't know anything about running a business.
Yeah. And a lot
And
of
we
us
was,
don't. Right.
yeah. And as smart as I thought I was, I had 5 degrees at that time, accounting and finance, and went to film school and theater and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But you don't know how to do it until you actually work to do it,
That's
and so many
yes.
people who were smart was trying to tell me how to run a business, and they had never run one.
Mm.
Until you actually do it, you have no idea what it is. You
Yes.
have to, like, as a man, I will never know what the birthing experience is like.
Right.
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 I
That
can
that
imagine, I can read books on it, I can tell you all kinds of theory, but what is that feeling like when a baby kicks in your belly? You know
right.
what I mean? So
Mm.
it was a learning curve of separating the wheat from the chaff. What actually works? How do I do this work and able to feed my family? So it was a huge lifestyle shift for me, going from being an employee to an employer. Because my family, South Carolina, salt of the earth type people, they will work you under the table, but there was no entrepreneurship in my family. There was no example of how to run a business in my family. We were some workers. We could work. You get up and you go get it. That's what our family, the boys in our family especially, that's what they taught us. You go out and you get up and you go get it, and you do everything you can to try to provide for yours and take care of yours.
That's right.
But never, find something you're good at and build a business around it. That just wasn't a philosophy in my house. Right.
Right.
So it was all of those things that I had to learn. So where the Harriet Tubman mandate comes in, I think about, because along the way, being a lifelong learner, I'm always reading books and, self-help books on leaders, people who I admire, and like, how did such and such do it? What can I learn from reading Paul Robeson's bio or something about, a historical figure, picking up lessons from these great leaders. And I thought about it. Imagine Harriet Tubman walking from the South all the way through the North. Now, mind you, there were no cell phones, no gas stations, no cars. I mean, if I told somebody to walk from Atlanta to Birmingham, which is only 150 miles, they'll look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Right? Harriet Tubman walked from the South, all over the South, all the way as far as Canada, walking. So imagine doing that once. That's hell.
Right.
Dogs chasing you, bounty hunters after you, sleeping outside, fighting off animals, all kinds of challenges that she would have faced on that journey.
Right.
Once would have been enough for most people.
Right.
So imagine her getting to Canada, she's resting, she's recouped, and then in her mind, she decided to go back.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
You just went through hell and you're going to do it again? For what? That's how much her people meant to her.
Right.
That's how much she cared about somebody other than herself. I'm like, wow, that is dope. She did that, many people believe, up to 26 times.
Isn't that
making
incredible?
that journey from the South to the North. That's mind-blowing. So when God puts in my spirit, do your part, I'm like, man, look at what Harriet Tubman did.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So just think about that decision. Just think about her in that moment where she decided, I'm going to go back. Because I'm sure it was hell.
I know
Sleeping
it was.
outside, mosquitoes, when you can't go to the refrigerator and get some food or go to the corner store and get some food. Sleep in a nice hotel. Let me catch the train or a bus. That wasn't happening.
And people after you.
You feel me? That wasn't happening. So to go through that hell and then deciding to do it again. Come on.
Many times. Right.
Right. So she can do that. What can we do?
Right. Right.
What can we do? And then I look at Nina Simone's and James Brown and Paul Robeson's and Gordon Parks, and all of these artists who had activist spirit, Maya Angelou, they use their platform as an artist for more than just entertainment. So that is this kind of spirit as an artist that I have. I want to use my platform as an artist for more than just entertainment. Of course, I want to entertain people and see them smile and enjoy what I put out there, but I also want to say something without my work. I want to empower my community with my work. So that's very important for me. That's what I call the Harriet Tubman mandate. It's like, if Harriet Tubman can do that, Anthony, what can you do? Absolutely.
And you have done just that. I mean, because your work, oh my gosh, it isn't just entertainment. It is informative. Even down to now, a few weeks ago, I had Darwin Pompey on here.
Yes, absolutely.
And we watched his video for his song, for the song from Moyani, entitled You.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a video like that before.
Yeah, I directed that video.
You directed the daylights up out of that daggone video. You
Thank you.
guys, I
Appreciate
would
that.
play it again, but I got so much I want to dig in with Mr. Anthony Page about. But y'all look it up. It's on YouTube. Moyani, Moyani, and the song is called You. Oh my goodness. Before I dig into your projects, first of all, I love how purpose is centered about everything. And that's why when I think of you, I said, you know what? Anthony is absolutely the most purposed, focused professional I think I know. And a lot of us are out here doing our thing, but I can tell because it speaks in all of your work, whether it is creating a flyer or putting on a stage production, creating this amazing video, directing this video. Everything is wrapped around purpose with you. That's what I see, because it tells a story. It tells so much more. You get a design and it's not just a design. That design like pops and it tells your story, and we will dig in. Let me ask you, because I'm really curious, and I think I probably kind of sort of know, only because I've known you for over 30 years and we've had multiple conversations. But when you were a little boy, what did you want to be when you grew up?
You know, early on, I wanted to be an actor. I knew I was drawn to it. I remember there used to be a show called 3-2-1 Contact. It used to come on the ABC affiliate in Augusta, Georgia. And every Saturday morning, these kids would be in the studio and they would be playing these games. And I was like, Mom, I want to do that. I want to do that. And I mean, I really wanted to do it. Watching it every Saturday morning, it was 3-2-1 Contact. I was like, oh my God, you know, that was one of them. And then it was a Trooper Terry show that also came on during that time. I was enamored by those, you know, to see kids on TV, and I wanted to do that. But being in a small town so far away from Hollywood, it's not like it is today, of course, where it's a little bit more decentralized. You had to really kind of be in LA or New York to even get close to that in a real way. So my mom was like, oh, you don't want to do that. Go be a doctor. So that pulled me away from that dream, that soul. And my bless her heart, she was trying to take care of her son and, you know, push me in the right. And my dad was a scientist. He was an engineer. So tried to push me in the right direction. So I just kind of put it out of my mind because it didn't seem realistic. And my focus was to kind of do something in science. It wasn't until I went to the military right out of high school, and it wasn't until I got to Atlanta in 1993 and I was dating a young lady who was an actress. I went on an audition with her, and just seeing that, just being close to that, it was like dehydrated food. You add water and it just comes to life.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That 18-year dormant from I was about 5 or 6 to the age of like roughly 23, that dormant dream just came back to life.
Wow.
And that moment, that series of moments changed my life. And that's the journey. I thought I wanted to be an actor, but I realized that was a lot of that was tied into some kind of insecurity that I had too. I needed that validation. I needed that love to be on stage and have people love you and respect you. I'm sure would feel good, and it does.
Yeah.
But my gift is a director. And it's not something that I wanted. Like I said, on my own volition, on my own ego and pride and will, I would probably choose to be an actor for whatever reason. But God gave me the gift as a director. I know it's a gift because I didn't want it. But I'm so good at it. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm trying to say how you find yourself, because Anthony wanted to do this. And I wanted to be one of the dopest actors in the game, period. And I worked. I stayed in acting classes, you know, just trying to be better at that. One of the directors I was working with and a mentor, he said, "You're a director." I'm like, "Oh no, I want to act. You'll see. I'm gonna get me an Oscar and I'm gonna do this and blah blah blah." He said, "You're a director." And I remember the first time I directed something, I was like, "Oh." It
Yeah.
was like when Keanu Reeves saw The Matrix for the first time.
Mm.
And when the stuff comes down, he could just move because
Yes.
yeah. And I traced it back. I believe it came from, um, I was that little kid in the backyard on a Sunday morning building worlds. I
Okay.
would I would get in the backyard with my G.I. Joe men, my Star Wars men, my Hot Wheels cars, and
Yes.
build cities out of dirt and sticks and driving the cars through. I was creating these whole narratives 3 and 4
As
years
a
old in
kid.
the backyard. That's a director pulling a story together, pulling these characters together.
Yes.
It that was more innate for me, and I believe that's why I still love that kind of play. I think that's where the seeds of me being a director come from,
Oh
because
yeah.
I didn't train as hard to be a director as I did. I do now, but early on I didn't train as hard being a director as I did an actor, and immediately I got further as a director than I did as an actor.
Wow.
Immediately, I mean, I had many years of acting training and doing that process. I started directing, and it was like Zoom,
I think
just
it's
like that.
because I know that because that is what he purposed for you to do, and I
Yeah,
mean, of course, it touches so many other areas, but that's why it's like it was like, even as a little kid, just to see you directing in the
yeah.
backyard, and it's funny because it made me think of that's exactly how I was with paper dolls. Oh my gosh, I had a whole world.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yes,
play is good. Encouraging young people to play, it's good. You never know, because that's also, and you know what? How I became a good producer and a project manager, that was kind of instinctual too. Those things go together for me. I'm really good at organizing, and I don't really know where that talent comes from. Well, at the time I didn't. I do now. My mom was that woman in the family. She organized the family reunions, the cookout
uh-huh.
stuff at the church, and I was always with her. Tony, go put this in the trunk. Go get this out of the car. Go help them set up those tables.
Yeah.
My mom was organizing all of these events and people and pulling things together and getting the food ready. And I was always her little mini me, her little assistant. Go pick this up for me. Go do this. So I had been doing events since I was a kid. So
Wow.
when I started to do my own events, I had a sense of the logistics and the operations for years without knowing it. So you see, just incorporating our young people into the things that we do, we don't realize the lessons and the things that they could be learning from us. You know,
Wow. That's good.
absolutely.
So yeah, we should definitely encourage play. And I
Yeah,
love seeing the little minds creative already, So yeah, I love that. And as a matter of fact, speaking of creative minds and children at play, one of the things that I've said, I see acting in my son. And I was like, if I could get him to train under anybody, I would love for him to train under Anthony. Of course, we're not there in Atlanta, but if you do anything virtual anytime soon, let us know.
yeah.
Um,
How old is he now?
Ace is 13. He turned 13.
Perfect.
Yeah, last month. Yeah.
Because
So he
Fulton County has an online Zoom class that I teach. I'm teaching acting
okay.
classes in Fulton, and I'm getting students from London and New York and all over the place.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and
I
and
didn't.
one we got one starting, and I think the first week in September, right after Labor Day, we got one starting, and then meet once a week via Zoom on Thursdays.
Oh, we got
So,
that. We got
so
that.
go to Fulton County Arts and just register, and it's free. You can't beat it.
Really?
Yep, it's a
Wow.
free it's a
That's
free class
incredible.
for the
That's
young people.
incredible.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I know that you have done so many projects, so many different things. Um, oh, I know what I meant to tell you. As you were speaking, the word purpose connector kind of stuck to me because you said that how with actors you teach them, you instill in them from the beginning about being, about producing. And I love how you mentioned how everything just kind of, you're able to produce your own type of stuff. And but I heard the word purpose connector. So I had to
well,
speak that and just let you know. I
I
hear
think that
purpose.
comes that comes. I kind of know what you're going at. Why do I do that when so many don't like that?
Yeah.
Um, some people will see you on fire and be like, "Are you okay?" Of course, I'm not okay. I'm on fire. What do you
Yes.
mean? They see you need help. They know where there's a resources to help you, but they don't help for whatever
Oh,
reason. For one, my mama raised me right,
yes.
period. And my mom was love. She didn't have much education. We didn't have much resource. But if my mom could help you, she would. And like I said, I spent a lot of time with my mom coming up. So I learned that kind of love. And my family was close like that. We had a very close-knit family back in South Carolina. We looked out for each other.
Yeah.
And I think that was a part of the culture that I grew up in. So if people are around me, I'm a natural giver.
Mm-hmm.
If I see you need some, oh, yo, man, I know you was looking for what, such and such. Somebody got this going on. You need to, I'm gonna make a text connection. I'm always connecting people. It's good karma too. I mean,
Yeah.
you sow and you can reap. You can't expect to sow if you don't reap.
Yeah.
But I know how. Also, the second part of it, I know how hard it was for me. I had this great something in me, but I had no idea, no mentoring. I had no idea how to make my dream come true. No
Wow.
idea. I learned through trial and error. The reason I have so much wisdom, because I've hit the brick wall 1,000 times going 100 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
Boom,
And
don't do that. Boom, don't do that.
yep.
Boom, don't do that. You know what I mean? So when I
Yes.
see somebody headed for that brick wall, I'm like, stop. I'm like, brother, trust me. Nah. I'm like, let me tell you why. And I do my best to try to articulate why you don't do it this way, because you're about to hit a brick wall. And I see it. How do
Yeah.
I know? Because I did it. You're
You
doing the
did it.
same thing. I can recognize the pattern. Nah. They go, okay, cool, no problem. And then so many people have told me, because I tell them the truth, and some people, like that movie says, you can't handle the truth. They get
Yeah.
mad. They isolate themselves from me, and they throw salt. They hate. They ghost me because of the stuff that I told them is hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Years later, they come back and like, thank you, man.
Yep.
Thank you. Right.
That's right.
Because let me tell you, one of the cruelest things that we can do is lie to people.
That's true.
Because I'm going to take the information you gave me and I'm going to make decisions about my life. So you told me false, bad information, and I'm
Oh,
making choices about my life based on what you're telling me that is wrong. And you may not know it for 2-3 years that, I've been doing what you tell me to do on some bull crap. Somebody told you some
yes.
bull crap, and you're using that bull crap philosophy to make decisions about your life and career.
Right.
And you don't realize how much garbage it was until it actually, you're like, you know what? Somebody told me this is the way to do it, and they were wrong. Because some people are so eloquent. They are gifted speakers and beautiful people and charismatic. And they say this stuff that is absolutely incomplete or wrong.
Right.
And I tell my actors all the time, I don't just give them acting training. I'm like, that's why you read for yourself. Because it's particularly in our business, we got a lot of very charismatic people. But
Yeah.
you do not want to make decisions about your enterprise based on bad information. You do
That's
not.
true. Right.
And that's with your business too. I had people in those early days telling me how to run a business, and they never run a business. They knew how to be a hell of an employee, but you don't know anything about running a
About
business.
running a business.
So
Right.
I'm taking your counsel on how to run a business, and it wasn't working for me. Then I started talking to entrepreneurs, and I started to learn the lifestyle shift.
Yeah.
Because a quick example, when I worked corporate America, I was on salary. I put in 80 hours in a week. At the end of that 2 weeks or whatever, I get my check,
Yeah.
no matter what level of completion my work is.
True.
When I first left my job and I was at the same hustle, 80 hours a week hustling, dusk till dawn grind, weeks would go by, no money coming in. I was doing a lot of work, but no money coming in.
Speak on it.
But
Yes.
the bills keep coming. They
The
coming
bills
every
coming.
month.
Yep. They're
So
very
here I
crucial.
am. So you can't tell me you just put in your hours, you show up on your job, you do a little bit of work, your check is coming. When you're an entrepreneur, it does not work that way. So you learn how to prioritize quickly.
Yes.
Period. You see what I mean? That's
Yep.
something employees don't know. Because
Mm-hmm.
all they're responsible for is that little piece. This is my job. I come in every morning and they ask me to do this one thing. When you're an entrepreneur, you got to think 360. It's all yours.
It's all yours.
And every decision has to be, and you cannot make a decision in a vacuum. You have to consider everything now. Whereas when you're an employee, you focus on this one little piece.
Yep.
The whole puzzle is
Right.
when you're the owner or the business owner, the whole puzzle is yours. TD Jake said that when you're at, he's got this wonderful sermon on leadership. I listen to that brother all the time. He's like a mentor for me, even though I've never met him.
Oh yeah.
I love
he's a mentor for a lot of us. Absolutely.
He's a truly gifted teacher. And he was talking about, with some people, when you're in the wrong environment, when you're speaking to people, and you might as well be speaking French to them, you're in the wrong environment. That's kind of a metaphor of what I'm saying that he said. Mm-hmm. He is about being in the right circle. And he was talking about like constituents are with you for this reason, your inner circle's with you for this reason. He was talking about all the level of people when you're a leader, they're going to be surrounded. You like certain people are there with you because they're there for the cause. Mm-hmm. They may not like you, but they're down for your cause. Other people are there because they like you. So no matter what you do, they're down for you.
Right.
Other people, are there because of something they want. They're coming there for a moment, and as soon as that thing is over, they're gone. I mean, just look at it. Let me tell you, it's one of the most gifted and useful, teachings on leadership that I've ever met.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love Jake.
It was people like that I had to begin to listen to. People who've done the things that I haven't done. So I don't have to do so much trial and error and hitting brick walls at 1,000 miles an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I see people come to me, I'm telling you not how to be just a good actor, but how to build an enterprise around your creative talent as an actor. Your creative talent as an actor is your business. It's your expression in the world. It is a way that you can generate income. Will it be your sole source of income? I don't know. That's God's will. That's up to your effort, your commitment, whatever. But you can build an enterprise around what you love to do. And so these are some of the things you have to consider. So I'm teaching the students not only how to be good actors based on all those classes I took everywhere from New York to books I've read to degrees at Georgia State, classes at Alliance Theater, being mentored by people like Whitman Mayo, etc. Taking all of that, teaching them those lessons, but I'm also teaching them the lessons I've learned about how to run a creative enterprise in this industry.
That's good. Good.
Connected to love, it's like, I see these people need help, and if I'm a giver, if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. Wow. There's a double-edged sword to that though, too, because somehow I attract a lot of takers and it hurts. It's like, man, nobody likes to feel like they're being taken advantage of. You're a giver. Yeah, you're a giver. And our city is full of takers. You got people who just they'll come in and just try to they'll suck you dry.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, because I know you do quite a bit. And I wanted to talk about some projects. Of course, one that's near and dear to my heart, of course, would be the Blue series. I do want to talk about that, but out of your career and all that you do and you've done, tell me, what is that one thing you are absolutely just most proud of career to date?
I've worked with some great celebrities, really important people. I worked with the Nina Simone estate, the James Brown, blah, blah, blah. Arsenio Hall, people like that, right? But it was a play I did called Struggling.
Really?
Yeah. I got a grant it was a school grant. It was through Communities in Schools. It was like a organization designed to kind of help at-risk youth.
Okay.
Right. And they brought me in to do a theater program. So I come in with all my degrees and all of my intellect, and I want to teach these young kids from the hood. I want to introduce them to Shakespeare and August Wilson.
Yes.
Those little young brothers and sisters weren't interested in that. And I was struggling. I'm trying to introduce them to August Wilson, Shakespeare. They don't care about that. And after a couple of days, I'm like, okay, we gotta pivot here. This ain't working. So with the counselors there, I sat down. I said, I got to get to know these kids to find my way in. And the kids started sharing their stories, their struggles
Oh,
with me.
wow. Oh,
The stuff
wow.
that because they were in the alternative school, right? They were
Yeah.
quote unquote so bad and so disruptive. We had to
Yes.
separate them from the rest of the students, and we put all the disruptive students in another separate school, the alternative school.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the alternative school, and the stuff that they've gone through is so tragic and dramatic, and it's just as compelling as anything Shakespeare or August Wilson wrote. So based on their real life stories,
Oh, man.
I wrote a series of short scenes and monologues. These
Oh, wow.
kids had no acting experience, none. Some of them, because they weren't that well educated, didn't have very few advantages at all. It was one of the best productions I've been a part of. Those kids got up on that stage and smashed it.
Love it. Oh, my
And
God.
there was a time that I was at a low. So there was at a time that I was at a low in my life. And I know God put in my spirit, he said, Tony, tell my stories. So I thought, okay, I was involved in my mom's church at the time. So I'm doing the life of Jesus. We're doing the Easter play. We're doing, you know, the prodigal son. I'm going through the Bible and just pulling stories and developing. But I knew that wasn't it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I knew that wasn't it. When I got to struggling, I was like, that's it.
That's it.
And I call it testimonial theater because it was inspired by real people.
I love it.
So a lot of the work that I do now is based on real people, period.
Yeah.
I often change the scenarios and mix the situations, but the stories that I write, I know the people. So I'm using that testimony in a way. And I'm mixing it, a little piece of this one and this one. I remember this one was going through this and this was going through this, and boom, I have a character, I have a scenario,
Right.
And it resonates with people a little bit, the work is connected. I had one called The Commitment. It was about a young couple. They were married, and this woman was giving everything to her man, everything. But he had a baby from a kind of baby mama coming out of high school, got a girl pregnant. He got a kid. Even though his wife is good to her, she's giving everything. He was still in love with his baby mama.
Oh, wow.
And didn't want to be, because he didn't understand anything about unconditional love.
You went there with that one. Wow. Yeah. You went there with that one.
Yeah, everything about his wife, she checked all the boxes. Good woman of faith, career woman. And it baffled her. And he didn't even know it because they went through so much together. They both came up through struggle in the projects. They didn't get new school clothes. They struggled together, and they made a commitment when they were young, met in middle school, that they would always look out for each other.
Wow.
Always. They bonded through their struggle. And even though they got grown and their life went on, nobody ever meant that much to them at the time.
Wow.
I did that play called The Commitment, and we're turning that into a feature film.
Oh, yeah. I can see
that's coming. That's an early 2022 project by the grace of God. But long story short, it started off as a play, and it was a filler because I was doing a bigger show and I wanted to have something as an opening. So I wrote that real quick in like 2 to 3 days. It was an opener. Got some actors to do it. All right, good. After that show, it wasn't the big production that they were impressed by. They were like, man, that commitment though. I was like, what? Yeah. I wanted you to be proud of the bigger work. They were like, oh man. He said, there was a couple in the audience crying. He said, man, me and my girl got to go have some conversations. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Another couple was like, that thing there. She said, we going through that right now. I was like, wow. I didn't realize, you don't realize how what you do is connected.
Oh yeah. You're telling our stories.
Yeah.
Our stories. That is wow. Wow. Yeah. That is something. That is something. Well, I definitely can't wait to see that one. And wow. Wow.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah,
the thing about you, though. Even down now, I mentioned the Blue series.
yeah.
And I know that Blue series, if you could, first of all, let me take a quick purpose break and see I see several people that are in here. Hey guys, I want to let you guys know that feel free to ask any questions. And of course, you see Anthony and I are just vibing. So, but I do see you guys in here. I see my cousin Latasha. I see Latanya, of course. I see Shelly Stevenson. And oh gosh, there's so many of you guys. And I see Frank Basket. So it looks like the CSRA is coming in. And wow, thank you so much for joining in. If you have any questions or comments, Frank says, hey there, Tony. Hey, Juva. Well, hello. So anyway, and he said, wow, I'm pretty sure in reference to something that we that you were speaking on. So I wanted to say welcome again to my purpose friends. Thank you guys always for just your love and support, and y'all keep in because I have some good news that I want to share. But anyway, Anthony, we were talking about the Blue series, and I know that the Blue series, of course, it's a project that you invited me to. But if you
Mhm.
could you tell everybody exactly what the Blue series is, and when is the next Blue series? I mean,
Um, well, I mean, we were planning to do something, then COVID hit about 20
yeah,
months ago. Because
COVID did.
I had something for 2020, COVID hit. I had 8 live events planned for 2020 because you remember COVID hit around February. They kind of
Yes.
shut things down around March, but my whole year, I had planned stuff all planned through November of that year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on a holding pattern with live events until
Until we can, yeah.
we get a different sense of normalcy. Like I said, as far as the Blue series, where did it come from? Necessity. I had this gift. I wrote plays. I had actors ready to go, and I didn't have any money. I couldn't pay the exorbitant fees to go into these big theaters because you got to rent this space. You got to pay all that money for
Yeah,
marketing. You got to pay all this crew. It takes a lot of money to go into these big theaters to mount a show.
that's right.
So again, God said, use what you have. So I got this little venue, and I crafted little shows to meet that little venue. So, a couple of 10-minute plays fits this little venue that holds 30 people. People love the format. So you can come one night and for an hour for a very low ticket price, you can watch 3 short plays, each play about 10 or 15 minutes each.
Mm-hmm.
But it also became a way that I can mentor some of the people and give them a chance. So many of the people that were working with me as actors, I gave them a chance to get their directorial debut.
Yes, you
They
did.
wrote, they wrote their own plays, and they were able to direct a little 10-minute play. It's easier to do that than try to take on a whole 2-hour large-scale production. That can be overwhelming. But if you can do 2 actors, 1 scene, a nice little 10-minute thing to get your feet wet, you can scale that up over time. And it kind of slowly gets you into the process because you can learn all the lessons and the principles about how to do that in that small setting. And then all you got to do is just scale it up,
Mm-hmm.
So it served a lot of purpose. It was a way for me to kind of push some of my mentees on. They got a chance to kind of write some of their stories and develop their gift as writers, as directors, and actors. Some of them acted in their own stuff. So it was very useful in that way. And from an audience standpoint, they love that short format because people's attention span is a little different. To sit down maybe for a 2.5-hour play is too much, but
Right.
I can give you about 1 hour and 15 minutes. We can go out, me and my husband, wife. You know how people do with their husband, their wife.
Mm-hmm.
They can go out, watch a couple plays, and then still have time to go out and get a nice dinner. That's a good evening out for
Right.
an audience.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes a play can take up a whole night. It'd be a late
Yes,
night.
it can. Right, it can.
So it was just another option. And it made sense for me financially. It was what I could bite off and chew. Because you're talking $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 to go into the Imperial Theater in Augusta, and it's even more ridiculous in Atlanta.
Yes, it is.
You
Right.
can't come into some of these places unless you walking in the door with $30,000, $35,000.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I got that in my back pocket at the time. Oh yeah, I got that in my back pocket. No. So I know
Right.
I know I can entertain an audience, but I can't afford to get in this building, can't get the sponsors. So you scale down, you know? So that's what the Blue series was. It started off as necessity, but it became its own thing that
It
people
sure
like
did.
that format. And so you know, actually Juva, you were one of the artists that got her directorial debut, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
her writing debut, you
Right in
know,
it.
with the Pink Tackle Box through one of the Blue series. Because I did one for Women's History Month, and
Yeah.
all of the playwrights that I featured were females, female writers, and female directors, and
Right.
each of them did a 10 to 15 minute play. It was a
Right.
great format,
And I
and
think it
it
was really
goes,
cool the way that you kind of partnered everybody up.
yeah,
Um, and you gave, I mean, it's like everybody had the opportunity to really go in and sharpen on those skills, you know, that they naturally have. Like, for instance, Tammy Waller, incredible
yeah,
actress. You were
yeah,
like, you are a director. You
mm-hmm,
can do this. And it was beautiful because when we had the opportunity to you know get with our actors and things like that, I think her having the mind of an actor already, she was able to give so much
yeah,
more. And even the actors would comment and say, you know what, oh well, yeah, you know, so she's able to kind of like give them a little bit more
right,
uh feedback and direction. So
right,
yeah, I think I absolutely love the format of just the Blue series. And I love even the push to the creatives just to be creative and to do their thing. And so it was an exciting experience, and it has birthed
right,
so much, you know, just even as a writer and even as an editor, and just different little things that I see. I mean, Anthony, like I said, I could probably go on and on and on. I mean, I think you mentored me and you don't even realize it. I mean,
yeah,
just even little things like uh when I think of marketing, there was so much we learned in that little bit of time, you know,
yeah,
when to start advertising, and and not just, and I mean, you make your stuff look, you make your stuff look good. You know, I'm not gonna have no little halfway house, little rinky dink plot. You know what I mean? And it
right,
doesn't cost a lot, but you have to just be creative, think outside the box. And that's why I said doing everything in excellence. If I didn't learn anything about you, I learned about the art of excellence, just
right.
excellence.
So
And
you see what I mean?
yeah,
I learned all of that out of necessity. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm an entrepreneur. Since 2008, this is all I've done. I don't work a job. I work for
this is
myself. I
what you
have my
do,
own
right?
enterprise. So I can tell you how to take care of your family and take care of yourself doing this work because I'm doing it.
Right. Ooh,
Period.
that's good. That's good.
So so I know it works because I'm living proof. I'm not saying, oh, do what I say, not what I do. No, do what I do because it's working for me. And it wasn't no gilded road. Like I said, it was a hard journey. How did I learn graphics and photography and all this other stuff? Out of necessity, because I needed to promote my events, but I couldn't afford a huge marketing company to come in and do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let me learn this software. You see why I'm a lifelong student?
Yes.
I don't want to do it all, but
Right.
I don't want, they said one monkey don't stop no show. I'm not going to let my production not be everything it can be because I've seen so many productions fail because one piece.
Yeah. Ooh.
What we do as storytellers is so integrated. Our films, great actors, great director, great camera work, and the sound was terrible. That movie's gone.
Right.
Great sound, great camera work, great director. The actor sucked. That movie is gone. You see what I
Yep.
mean? So you got 9 people doing their job to the level, and that one person that doesn't, the project falls flat. It's
Right.
such an integrated thing. That's why, again, there's no room for pride. So as a producer, I'm
Yes.
always trying to put everybody in their position to do their best work. Genuinely loving people, genuinely trying to empower people, Ego, pride coming before the fall. I've seen it because this person on set think they're the most important person, and everything on the set bends to this one person. That's not a healthy, productive environment. You're
That's
not
right.
going
And
to
that was one of the first things that you
no,
told
no,
us about at the
yeah,
initial meeting about ego.
because
No.
I've seen it. Because you in this business, you do get a lot of alphas, and maybe alpha personalities will take it for 5-10 minutes, but over 6-8 week production cycle, you're gonna have a major mutiny, and that
Yeah.
production's gonna it's that production is done. So you have to check that. You have to create the right organizational behavior, the right corporate culture. Otherwise you'll pay for it. You
That's
will
true.
absolutely pay for it because yeah, it's hard to lead a group of people, period.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got all this ego in there, you're going to start to get these divisions, and it's going to be so much about that than the product.
Right.
No, nobody's focusing on the play. I'm trying to prove something to her because she done made him my nerve. Or who the heck he think he is? So they're dealing with all of that, and nobody's doing the play or making the movie or managing the event because they add each other.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing the best work because they add each other. So you got to manage that stuff.
Absolutely.
So you set that example. If you were part of the leadership, you set that example. You become what you want to see.
I love
And
it.
you can't have it separated. You can't do one thing and expect them to do something else. No.
It doesn't work
They
like
will
that.
call you on it. Absolutely. You see what I
Right.
mean? But you learn that stuff.
Right.
Because that's why on my productions, even though I'm in charge and it's mine, I will clean a toilet. I will take out the trash. If this is what I need to do to get the best project possible, I'm going to do that.
Yep. I've
I'm
seen you in the
absolutely gonna
lighting
do that.
room and lighting the stage and
Yeah,
making
and
sure that
hopefully the
sound
hopefully the people surround me seeing that,
right.
and
Absolutely.
it creates something in them. That's just the kind of leader I am. That's one style of leadership. Other people have other type of leaderships. I'm an in the trenches with you kind of leader.
And I love it. And I think we love, if anybody has ever had the pleasure of working with you, they could probably attest to that. That is definitely your leadership style. That's what you do. And it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes, and it impacts you in a way that you see yourself emulating different things. And I'm like, I pick up so many nuggets that I'm just probably forever just grateful for.
But let me give you another one though, real quick before we move on. It's not always the best though. It's stages. God is pushing me out of that stage now. Because he's like, taking out the trash, is that the best use of your time and expertise? Should you be somewhere else doing something? Like, is Michael Jordan better playing baseball or basketball?
Okay.
So as talented as I am and much experienced as I am, it's not the best use of the me resource to be taking out the trash.
I feel you.
And it's pulling me out. So yeah, I'm willing to do that, but is that the smartest thing? That's why I'm taking these leadership classes at Harvard. Where am I going to be the most effective?
That's good.
Right? And little stuff like that. I can still do that, but not get bogged down in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because one of the issues I've been having is, how do I scale? My projects are as big as I am, but how do I get a project to be bigger than me? Because I haven't created enough of an infrastructure for my business to scale. So that's what I'm working on now, is building out my infrastructure so I don't have to take out the trash. So my business can scale like Tyler Perry. He doesn't have to take out the trash.
No,
his business has scale. Steven
and I'm
Spielberg's
sure he can, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg's business has scale. So I'm in that transition now. I know how to do all of the jobs. So I know how to maybe hire and work with and partner with the right people and organizations, because I know this. I've done this. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm working on now, is moving into scale. So I can really do the kind of work that I want to do.
I love that. Because sometimes, and to keep you focused on your particular purpose and your particular goal, the end result. So yeah, you that is definitely a skill set that you're going to have to definitely be able to kind of
Yeah.
develop. I'm glad that you're taking that leadership course. That
Yeah.
sounds very, very interesting, and that's good.
And
Let
let me
me
tell
ask.
you, always have a mentor. Try not to be the smartest person in the room.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
comfortable to be the smartest person in the room, but it's going to be hard to grow being the smartest person in the room
absolutely.
because
That reminds me
you're
of
pouring into everybody
that.
else, but who's pouring into you, right?
Oh
You
yes.
can't
Oh
you
my
can't
gosh.
grow that
Yes,
way.
Anthony.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't grow that way.
And I was going to ask you, and my question kind of falls in line with that, because I was going to ask you, who inspires you and why?
From a creative art standpoint, it's those people who cared about more than themselves, and they risk a lot in their life and career, and they were okay with it. Like Paul Robeson, he lost his license to sing and perform. He was a gifted brother, but he saw what was happening to Black people, and he spoke up against it. And of course, the system tried to shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Nina Simone did the same thing with the songs that she did. James Brown. You
True.
know, those artists inspired me, man. They could have just made their money and did their thing, but they used their gift to say, this group of people, because nobody in America has had the experience of Black people that came from enslaved Africans. Nobody.
Absolutely.
Nobody
Absolutely.
has had that experience. Our
No.
experience is unique in that.
Right.
Many people have had struggle, but how that experience has infected our ancestors, how it impacted us, we're still healing.
Right.
We,
That's
we,
true.
we're still healing. So stories and talking and learning and sharing our experience is critical. We have generations of stories that need to be told, because when we went to high school, our history began with, oh, your people were slaves. That's it. Oh, and
That's it.
here's Martin Luther King. So out of
Yep.
all my years of school, that's what I learned about my people's contribution to the
Yep.
world. We were
Yep.
slaves, and then there was Martin Luther King. That was it.
That was it.
So when I got grown, I started learning about Paul Robeson and Gordon Parks and Maya Angelou and all these other great people. I'm like, what the heck? But again, other people control the narrative. They determine what was in the history books. They determine what was in the movies. They determine what was in the newspaper. But now that we can do it for ourselves, we get to say, hey, this is a hero. This lady in this little neighborhood is feeding 30 kids a week. Let's do a movie about her. Let's do a documentary about her. Let's write an article about her. Let's do a painting about her. Let's hold her up and give her a community service award.
That's
We can do those things now. You know what I mean? It's important, because it was saying, we see you, we appreciate you, you're important to us.
Yep.
And it encourages other people, you know what, man, look at what this lady's doing. Let me do something too. I'm gonna help somebody.
Right.
And our community needs a lot. Our community is hurting.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for people to hone in on what it is that they've been gifted and to do, especially storytellers, writers, because we are telling the story. And I always say, I write what you feel. When I get in my moment and I'm like really, really writing, I'm like, I write what you feel. But we have to, how else do we get our stories out there? We have to talk. We have to share them on multiple different platforms. As you said, even maybe a painting, I think that's so
the books, so many self-published authors sharing their story, so we don't all need to go to Harcourt and all these big publishers. We can, and you don't realize, like, I know you're an author, you don't realize that your great grandkids will be reading your life.
Right.
They'll be able to pick up, this great grandmama wrote this book, and your little great granddaughter's learning something about herself based on what her grandmother, you're her lineage. I'm learning something about myself based on what my great grandmother did. Isn't it? You don't real. So we're thinking about the now, but you got to think about how important your book is going to be to your great granddaughter.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because that's legacy. That's what I'm saying.
Legacy.
So it's not about, oh, I made a whole bunch of money off of selling this book.
No,
you don't know what your great granddaughter will see herself.
That's right.
He
Oh
will
man.
see herself and
Oh,
from
you're
her great grandmother. You know how many of us would have loved to being able to hear something from an ancestor? Well, you got a permanent record.
too many of us. Too many of us.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I did say that I wanted to share something. Before I do, Anthony, let me see because I see my I was looking at some of my purpose friends, and they are kind of going in here. Uh Good question. We came from strong people, and that's
Yes.
what's terrifying them. Oh yeah, building self-esteem. Oh yeah. So everybody's chiming in and they are feeling you. Um, I wanted to share something. You and I have recently worked on a project. Well, actually, I enlisted your services, your graphic
Yeah.
design services. And I want to tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because anything when I am on this writing journey, um, I have in my mind what I want. I focus in on what it is that I want to do. But one thing that I found, I actually completed a publication that I just did, and actually I saw that it went live on Amazon, I think yesterday. But
Awesome. Awesome.
um, the thing is working with you, even just for a cover design. I knew what I wanted. I had what I had in my brain. But the beauty about creating a cover that people don't seem to understand, unless you are an author and you're connected to your project, your baby that you spent the time to write. You don't realize how important it is to connect with somebody that can produce what it is that you want. Now, I know we say a book, and you say you can't judge a book by its cover, and you can't necessarily judge the content, necessarily. But it speaks volumes when you are able to connect with someone and they are able to connect to a vision, and you
Mhm.
have this process. Oh my gosh. And I realized, I was like, that absolutely just kind of speaks to me, because you're like, okay, one of the questions that you asked, you were like, okay, well, this is what I'll need this, I'll need this, and I'll need this. And everything was like questions about, tell me about your brand, tell me this thing that you like. You kind of like pick my brain. So I wanted to share with all of my purpose friends and everybody. First of all, I want to tell you thank you so much, Anthony.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because this is near and dear to my heart. But the project that I worked on, it's actually a journal. And but it's no ordinary journal, because I don't think I'm any ordinary writer. It is a 30-day journal. It is the Purpose Conversation journal for girls. And I did it specifically for girls that are tweens and teens. Um, and I looked at this journal. I made it for 30 days because in my mind it came to me that in order to start or break a habit, you have to do something consistently for 30 days, right? So that's where
Right.
30 days kind of came in. And to me, creating this journal for 30 days, it's like a writing exercise for girls. And because I work with so many writers as an editor, I work with so many writers and I do a lot of writing coaching. So it's like an assignment for each girl, but I cause them to go deep, because what I share with them each day, and I want them to consistently do it for each day, I'm causing them to really think outside the box. So I tell them, hey, you have two instructions. One, find a quiet place every day just for you to be able to write. Two, the next thing I want you to do is to be honest with yourself, honest with your writings, and just write.
Right.
So, and I looked at it every day that I poured something into them. Anthony, it was in Purpose Friends.
Hmm.
I shared with them things that I wish someone would have shared with me at that stage in life.
Yep.
Because when you get a little older, you write a book, you do whatever you do, and you have the opportunity to do interviews, such as we're doing. One of the things people usually ask is, oh, well, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell your younger self? Well, in this journal, this is what I would tell my younger self. And so I challenge each girl, and it is available now. And I just wanted to share that Anthony designed this. He designed my cover. So I'm going to share the front of it. But there it is. It is the Purpose Conversation for Girls. And I like the idea that it's bold colors. And then, of course, on the front cover, I had the privilege of having my daughter, Aaliyah. I have my niece there, Jaslyn, and of course, I have my younger niece, Mimi. So they're there on the cover, and it is a wonderful journal. It is really, really good. And guys, what I wanted to say to you all, to all of my purpose friends, is that tonight, I hope you have a young girl here in your life that you know and you love, and I know that you do. If it isn't your daughter, it may be a granddaughter, it may be whoever, but whoever is currently on my live feed right at this very moment, I want you to type in here, HERE, here. If you type in here, I will connect with you, and I am going to send you a signed autograph journal for the girl of your choice. So type here, and the gift is yours. And I want to thank you, Anthony, for working on this project with me, working on this baby with me.
Awesome. Thank you. It was an honor, for real. For real.
Yeah. And I definitely have one coming to you, because I need you to be able to see it. But you know what? I just writing the whole journal, I was like, man, I think this is probably for me, because I found myself just kind of lost in just some of the assignments. So it will definitely kind of push some girls. And so I like that. And I see you guys saying here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you are here, and I'll know if you're on repeat, but for the people that are present right at this very moment and saying here, then I will make sure that I get a copy to you. And I thank you so much. And for those that are catching it on repeat, you didn't have the opportunity to necessarily win a journal, but you can sew a journal into a young person. It is available on Amazon right now, the Purpose Conversation Journal for Girls. So Anthony, before we wrap up, and I know that we've kind of gone a little bit over our time. We've been vibing tonight. I appreciate you taking this time.
Yeah, it's good, man. I'm loving it. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you, what are you currently working on right now, and how can we connect with you?
And this is a struggle. I have 20 projects right now.
Oh gosh.
I'm booking all the way. I'm at about September, October of 2022.
Okay.
That's why I said I need to build my infrastructure. Yeah. I've worked so hard to get to this point. I'm here, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta grow quickly. Okay. So because I don't want to drop the ball, but God is good.
Yes, He is.
So I got to finish this work, and I got to finish it with the highest level of quality as possible. So I got to grow my team. I got to make sure my infrastructure is sound. So I'm taking a lot of time from now to the rest of the year to kind of tighten up some of that while I'm working on some things. But I mean, it's really too many to mention. I'll say 2 projects